Hello, Dave.
Keith.
That was quicker intro than we thought.
Yeah.
There we are. 1 minute we're being put in, and then it was straight in. So that was good. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this Ask the Experts live. Sorry, we haven't got any experts in here tonight.
Only me.
me and Dave. But we're here to try and answer any questions that you might have on our trips. So whether it's you're interested in Everest Base Camp, you don't know which trip to pick, what to pack, like you can put those questions into the comments and we will try and answer them. And yeah, that's the plan. But we're going to start off having a little bit of a chat about some other stuff as well, just so we can get some people watching, but at the same time, wait for people to ask some questions as well, if there are any. So obviously, I'm Keith, this is Dave, and we are two of the guides that lead our bucket list trips. So if you've been on a trip with us before, hello, say hello in the comments as well so we know who's watching. But if you are thinking of booking a trip with the bucket list company and you book one of our bucket list plus trips, then the chances are you might have me, or you might have Dave, or you might have one of the other guides that come with you as well. So I'm heading off on Monday to Uganda. So I'm leading our gorilla trekking trip to Uganda on Monday, and I am so looking forward to it. The other thing we want to talk about is what's happening at the bucket list company at the minute. So, you know, we've had quite a busy start to January. We've had a couple of trips go out in January already. We've had a Kilimanjaro trip. They did the Marangu. Jack led that one. With a 100% success rate again on Kilimanjaro, so that's great news. Hello, Lindsay, long time no see. Yeah, I think it's been about 15 minutes since I've been on a video call with you. So talking about our gorilla trekking trip on Monday, I'll just point out I wasn't having a private video call with Lindsay. And then we also had our Aconcagua trek as well, which Mike led for us. Unfortunately, a bad weather window on that one, but everyone came back having had such an amazing time on that one, and safe and sound. Yeah, exactly, and well looked after as well. Yeah. You know, both from Mike and from our local crew as well. I think they had there was various things on that trip, and Mike and I had a really good chat about that on the podcast that came out today, actually. So if you have got Aconcagua on your bucket list, then go and have a listen to that podcast, because Mike is very open about like what you need to do to be able to summit Aconcagua. So if that is on your list and you want to get up to close to the 7,000 meters, then it certainly is a good episode. And hopefully in a second, just like that, Tom's going to put a link into the podcast, into the comments now, so you can go and click and save that one for later. If you don't listen to the podcast, why not? You should do. There are some good episodes on there. There we are, and just like that, the link comes up. So yeah, you know, go and listen to the podcast. There's about 135 episodes on there now. We cover all the trips from training to client perspectives of the trips, so it is well worth a listen if you've got a destination in mind. But if you'd like to subscribe to it as well and give it a like, that's always good. Coming up, as I said, we've got our Aconcagua, gorilla trekking trip going out on Monday. We've also got a Sahara Desert trek heading out. We've got a Kilimanjaro trip heading out this weekend. We've got a winter Toop Cow heading out this weekend. So lots happening at the minute, lots of different trips. So it's just a really nice time to be in the office. And then tomorrow I am heading up to Destination Show in London. We will have a stand there over the weekend. So if you are planning on visiting the Destination Show, Destination Travel in London, then come and see us there and say hello. I'm just going to quickly, I'm just realized that I'm not on, I can't see the comments on Instagram. So I'll keep it on there so I can see the comments on Instagram as well. So if you have got any questions on any of our trips, then please do add them into the comments. so we can get round to answering them, because that's the point of this show. If there is a specific question you've got, we'll try and answer it. We've got one coming here now. Currently planning a big trip to bike pack across Canada. Any tips? Well, Dave, any tips?
Padded shorts.
Padded shorts, definitely. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, I think a big trip like that needs to be well planned.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's the key thing with that.
Yeah.
And I think like what you take with you as well, because the trouble with bike packing is you can't take that much stuff. Obviously, the bike is already heavy carrying the bare essentials. You don't want to be adding more and more to that weight. So I think from that perspective, like proper planning, working out what you can get en route so you don't need to take it with you.
Yeah.
I know someone who's currently, we're talking about the podcast. I did a podcast with him. He's going from Alaska down to Aconcagua with his plan to climb Aconcagua at the end of it.
Wow.
He's had drop-offs sent on the way, so he knows he's going to be somewhere in a month's time and gets stuff sent out to him.
That's logistics, isn't it?
So,
absolutely,
yeah, exactly that.
You've got to be sharp.
Ben's asked, Dave, which trips are you guiding this year?
Oh, this year, right. It starts with, what does it start with, Keith? I've got a list in my head. What am I doing this year? At the end of the year,
most people start at the beginning of the year.
Well, I'm going to start at the end. I'm going to work back. I'll be in the desert in November, like I was last November, Sahara trip, which I love and always choose to do. Prior to that, I shall be in Nepal doing the Annapurna circuit, which is absolutely fantastic trek in Nepal. I can't tell you. Yeah, I probably have told you too many times. We'll be doing that. Prior to that, I shall be revisiting Petra with our Best of Jordan trip and Oman. I mean, hopefully things will have calmed down a bit over the border, but we still managed to go previously. So there's that.
Well, we were just discussing that actually on the guerrilla trekking call I had just a minute ago with the group, because we've had to take out additional travel insurance for that trip because the Queen Elizabeth National Park is still on the FCO list. So standard travel insurance won't cover us basically for the 2 days we're in the national park. Now, the incident that happened was 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Nothing has happened since. Everyone is still going and visiting there. So we just basically had to take out some extra cover to cover that basically. And the interesting thing is, though, the bit that I couldn't understand is that the FCO had allowed travel back to Israel like 6 weeks ago.
Yes, I know.
Like, and you think, well, that was still continuing, and you were allowed to fly back and visit Israel, but you couldn't go to the Queen Elizabeth National Park where that incident happened 2 years ago. So, very bizarre.
Yes. Anyway, Jordan is clear with a Foreign Office, so that's fine. Hopefully, it will remain clear and become clearer, if you like. And then prior to that, we have our Spanish adventure, which is fully booked.
Yeah.
Again.
I think we've got a few spaces on it.
Oh, what have you? Oh, right. Well, that's good. That's fantastic.
Yeah, unfortunately, we had two drop out.
Okay.
So there is a couple of spaces left on Spanish adventure.
Yeah.
Luckily, they didn't drop out completely. They've moved to Gozo. So
excellent.
They're still doing another trip a month later, or 2 weeks later, actually. But yeah.
So that's June. And then prior to that, climbing Mount Toubkal. And then prior to that, I shall be in Costa Rica. So it's quite a busy year.
Yeah.
But not as busy, as I keep saying to people, as that year after the pandemic, when we were away. Well, Machu Picchu twice in 6 weeks is just 1 month,
Yeah. Yeah, I think I worked out that I was abroad 32 weeks of the year that year.
And we're still married.
Yeah. Not together.
No.
But yeah, I think that was a crazy year. That was great. But it was great to start with, but living out of a duffel bag, by the time it got to October, it was kind of like
got a bit smelly, didn't
it? Few other questions as well then we've had in. What else have we had in? So Silas is asked, he's got a question for Dave. How does he dodge all the panties that are thrown at him when he's walking down the street?
Oh, lightning reflexes, of course. Yeah. Who was that from?
Silas.
Silas.
Oh, so yeah. And then with Christine's just booked hubby's third trip with yourselves. He's just booked today to do the Great Wall of China trip.
Oh, excellent. Excellent.
So that's such a good trip.
Yeah.
And then we've got another question. How many people are booked on the Kilimanjaro trip in June? We're the wrong people to ask that question, I'm afraid. We kind of stay away from
We just do them.
Yeah. Like I try and stay away from operations because I just get in the way. So if I can stay away from that. But if you contact the office, they will certainly be able to let you know how many people are booked on the Kili trip in June. And which is the Kili trip in June? Let me just, in fact, I might be able to tell you how many people are on the Kili trip in June. There is a spreadsheet that I know where it lives. But so there is currently 6 on that one. 6 on that one currently. So as long as the spreadsheet's up to date, but it should be. Michael's asked, he's off on the Gorilla Trek, but unfortunately he missed out on the group chat because he was working. Taking currency, I would take. I'm going to take British pounds with me, Michael, and there is a Forex change place just around the corner from the hotel when we get there. And I will be changing my money up there. And I know that's what we said on the call as well. And we'll have the opportunity to head up there and change money up. Don't worry that you missed the call, though, because when Ellie is back in the office tomorrow, she will pop the recording of the meeting into the WhatsApp group. So you'll be able to catch up on it tomorrow anyway. So you won't have missed anything. But obviously, like with all of our trips, we have a WhatsApp group that goes out like 10 days before the trip departs. And you can put any questions you like in there. So if you've got any other questions, Michael, that you wanted to ask on the call tonight, then you can just put them in the WhatsApp group and I'll get them answered for you. Do you organise expeditions to Morocco? Yes, we do lots of trips to Morocco. And
we love Morocco.
And we really do love Morocco. We do lots of them. See, someone's like, how many people are booked on the Everest Base Camp trip? Like, they are. If anyone's got any questions like that, if you email the office, they will answer those for you because it's changing all the time at the minute as well with it being January and lots of people book trips in January. Yeah. So numbers are just constantly changing on trips at the minute. Am I leading the trip to Kilimanjaro in June? No, I am not, unfortunately. June is always pretty busy for me because we do the Spanish adventure trip in June and we deliver that trip ourselves. Yeah. So the climbing the Via Ferrata, we deliver all of that. So Dave and I head out on that one. And then I also generally lead the Gozo trip at the end of June as well, because that is one of my favorite trips to do. So I generally take that one as well. But again, all the guides are pretty much booked in for this year of who's leading what trips. So if you contact the office, they will be able to let you know who your guide is going to be on the trip as well. Did we miss anything there? No, I think we're caught up with all of that lot there. But if anyone's got, like I say, any specific questions on their trip, like what bag do I want to pack? What, you know, what duffel bag do I need? How big what sleeping bag? Like, that's what these sessions are for as well. Obviously, if people are thinking, should I do an Everest base camp or a Kilimanjaro trek? You know, which would you do first? Like, those are the sort of you know, the questions that we are here to.
We can answer.
We can answer those. Well, we can give you our opinion on them.
That's right. And, always.
And ultimately, you know, you might say, would you do Kilimanjaro or would you do Everest base camping? Dave and I might completely disagree on that one. Or so, but you know, that's the point of these. Can you recommend a thermal sleeping mat that will not cost a fortune? Can I recommend one that won't cost a fortune? Yes, I can. I would be looking at Alpkit is a good example. Alpkit, kind of middle of the road pricing wise. They manufacture all their own stuff and sell it direct. So they're kind of cutting out the middleman on it. So you tend to get really good quality kit.
And they do repairs as well.
They do repairs.
Yeah, they look after their kit they've sold to you. So I've got loads of Alpkit stuff.
So yeah, Alpkit are really good. Obviously, Xbed are amazing. More expensive, but at the same time, though, they've got different levels of insulated mats. And the biggest thing that I would say with insulated mats is that is that you can actually save money on your sleeping bag, because you can if you get a really good insulated mat, you can almost take a season down on your sleeping bag, because it'll add a season to your sleeping bag because the insulation level is that good on it. So like for me, I've got a down Xbed mat, which is just brilliant. And you've got one as well, really good comfy night's sleep on it.
Always.
You don't end up sliding off it like you do with some of them. And it's properly well insulated as well. So sometimes spending that bit more money on it, I would say, is a good thing.
It depends what you want to do. I mean, we've used ours in really extreme conditions, minus 15, minus 20, deep frost, and been warm because there's no cold through the ground. But if you're not going to that kind of cold
and you just want a comfy night's sleep,
then you don't have to, spend out that much money. But what is true is the more insulation you've got, you pay for, but it does pay you back in the way that Keith has said.
Yeah.
I hope that answers it.
Yeah. Sorry, Anne. Anne said she posted a question higher up. Can you post it again, Anne? Because I think I joined in after maybe you posted your question, so I might have missed it. So if you could just copy and paste it back down there again, that would be perfect. So Kelly said that hers would be for Kilimanjaro. So ultimately, you're not going to need one for kind of minus 20. You're going to need one for a comfy night's sleep. So so have a look at Alpkit. That's where my first point of call would be for that one. Serious question this time from Silas. He doesn't want to know about your pant collection anymore. No. Any tips for those that don't like heights on how to prepare for the height activities for Spain?
I would say if you're coming to Spain, then get yourself to a climbing wall somewhere, an indoor climbing wall, and take a bit of tuition. It will cost you a little bit of money, but you gradually can acclimatize to getting up high on a rope. And actually, you're not there yet. But what you will find is that when you are really engrossed in climbing, you're not looking down. You're looking at, where am I going to put my hand? Where am I going to put my feet? And you're moving a few feet at a time. So any kind of vertigo is not there. It's only when you look down. But to get to that point, I would say go to a climbing wall somewhere and get some practice at climbing. And if you go and ask for some tuition, it'll cost you a little bit, but it will actually pay dividends, I think.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And that'll be true for the Via Ferrata too, because the Via Ferrata in Spain, again, you're concentrating on quite a small window. Where's my hand going to go? Where am I going to clip into? And and repeat, so that you're not looking down thinking, my God, I'm so high up. You do at the end if you want to, and that's the beauty of it, but that's up to you.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for is, like, from what Dave was saying, suggestion wise about a climbing wall, is actually getting to trust the equipment that you're going to be using. I think if you can, it's always that fear of what if, isn't it?
Yes.
And actually, if you've practiced that and you've fallen off a climbing wall and you realise that you can't go anywhere, then instantly you lose that panic in essence. And a via ferrata can be quite exposed in places.
And it is.
It is, and for the majority of the time, it comes down to, like, you are perfectly safe. Nothing can happen to you. And if you can just go in, learn to trust the equipment, and if you fall on the equipment, then nothing's actually going to happen to you, then that kind of loses that straight away. Someone's just asked, what do you guys think of Snugpak sleeping bags? It was the first sleeping bag I ever had as a 16-year-old doing 10 tours.
Made a man of you, didn't it?
Yeah. Exactly.
Made a man of you.
I love Snugpak sleeping bags. I think they're brilliant. The only downside to them is synthetic. So they're quite heavy, quite bulky. But they are British made, manufactured. Like, it's everything that we want really in gear, like, rather than buying rubbish from China or whatever. It's still good quality gear. I think the only downside of them is, like I say, that they are generally a little bit heavier and a little bit bulkier. So if you've got one, there's nothing wrong with it. Don't go and replace it for that sake. But obviously, if you are doing a trip like an Everest base camp or a Kilimanjaro trek, where you're going to be restricted to that 12-kilo luggage, having a big heavy sleeping bag, you're losing quite a lot of the extra stuff you can carry in that. Really, that would be the only thing that I would say.
That's the same in Peru too, isn't it, with Machu Picchu? The weight is limited, so you must.
Well, more so from Machu Picchu, 7 kilos.
7, 8. Yeah, it's not very much. So a Snugpak is usually heavy.
Someone's asked, what generally is your minimum numbers for a trip to Toubkal or further afield? So
generally,
they're on our website of what our minimum numbers are, and obviously we run 2 styles of trips. So if you're on a Bucket Lister Plus trip where it's UK guided, generally there are a lot less of those during the year. And they will generally have more numbers on them. With regards to the Bucket Lister trips, some of our trips we can run on 2 people, some of them we can run on a minimum of 4 people, depending on what sort of trip it is. But that's generally on our website for what the minimum number is for each trip. Bucket listers we can obviously send out with lower numbers because we haven't got to send one of us with us. So therefore it just keeps those, the costs are spread between 10 people. We couldn't spread one of our costs for 2 weeks between 2 people because that would make the trip unaffordable. So for bucket listers, they tend to have lower numbers on. And then for Bucket Lister Plus trips have higher numbers on. Bucket Lister trips can go with a lot lower numbers on there. Do you recommend both hard shell and light trekking trousers for Kilimanjaro? So for Kilimanjaro, I would have a light pair of trekking trousers, a heavy pair of trekking trousers, and then a waterproof pair of trousers to go over the top for summit night. So those would be, I'd have a pair of shorts, maybe 2 pairs of light trekking trousers, or a pair of trekking trousers that you can have the zip offs on and wear into shorts, a heavy pair for the summit night in the cold bits, and then a waterproof pair either for if it's raining if it's raining down the bottom in the rainforest. I would be wearing shorts because obviously you don't want to be wearing lots and lots of layers because it's very humid and warm. So I would just wear a pair of shorts and get wet. But for higher up, I would have a heavy pair for summit night and a pair of waterproof trousers to go over the top of those. Anne's question, she's come back. She's heading to Costa Rica in April.
Oh, hi, Anne.
Any packing tips and how to manage the zip line when I don't like heights?
Well,
the zip
line, in fact, it's a series of 7. So you're going to need to close your eyes, I think, Anne. I don't know what else to advise. You could go to Wales and try the zip line there, but I think Costa Rica, through the jungle with all the noises and the sights, that it might be a very different experience. I don't need to worry about it though, because again, it'll be about the equipment and how safe it is, and I'll be checking that as well as all the safety regulations anyway.
Yeah, so I think, like, you know, in terms of that, I think having the group there as well helps with that.
And you won't be alone. I'm sure you won't be alone. Not everybody is an adrenaline freak.
And I think as well, like, you know, it's the same on you know, with the Via Ferrata, isn't it? Like, you get some people who, I mean, you were on the famous Via Ferrata with me last year. Yeah. With our dear friend Leslie. Yeah. I mean, she really didn't like heights, did she?
Not at all. But she did.
But she did it.
She did it.
And the nice thing about it, going back, Silas, to your comment earlier on the Via Ferrata, is, you know, on certain Via Ferratas, there are points you can get off it as well. Like, once you start it, it's not necessarily. Like,
you're not committed. No,
some of them are, but like, we can make sure that we are. Yeah, we can manage it. It's fine. And then Silas is also putting out any plans for any Sinai deserts in Egypt. You're the desert man.
I know. Wow, you're the man who does the plans.
Yeah. So
put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah. Like, I mean, we've talked about Egypt, haven't we? But not so much for the desert, but for a diving trip out there. But I think, I mean, I am conscious, I suppose, looking at the current economy and things like that actually, you know, launching trips around the world, you know, a lot of the trips are super expensive, and, you know, traveling is an expensive pastime, and we really appreciate that. So I think one thing we are very conscious on is starting to look at more trips that are, you know, short haul flights away. You know, I would class Egypt as a short haul flight away compared to some destinations. So yeah, I mean, it's, those places are always, you know, it is on the radar, and maybe we could combine that with a desert and then an add-on,
something,
a diving add-on at the end.
Catch the coal train across the desert.
Yeah, there's plenty of options there, isn't
That's what I want to do.
There we go. It's always what
you are. That's always what I want to do. I know. I guess because I'm into adventure, kid.
Is it?
Yeah, really.
Did you see my comment that I put on the button?
Yes, I did. Thank you.
So talking about new trips, obviously, I don't know if you have seen, but we do have a new trip launching on Friday. It's been some months in the planning to get this one over the line, and the reason why is because we've always had a Galapagos add-on to our Machu Picchu treks. But we're getting so many people now coming to us saying, I've done Machu Picchu, but I want to go to the Galapagos. Yeah. I don't want to go back to Machu Picchu again. So we decided that actually, you know, just a trip to the Galapagos was probably a long way to go just to go and visit the Galapagos. So we've tagged it onto Ecuador, and we've created a new Ecuador Galapagos trip that we're launching on Friday. There will be a trailblazer. It will be a trailblazer going out next year. It will go out. There is a priority list for those people who are interested. If you kind of think, actually, you know, that trip sounds interesting, and there's a bit of a deal on it going out on Friday morning at 8 o'clock. And if you want to get on the priority list, Tom, it was very quick on that one. and has gone and put a link into the comments there where you can sign up and get on the priority list. So you'll be first to know about it at 8 o'clock on Friday morning. There are 16 spaces available for that trip. And for the first 8 who book, there will be an extra discount for the first 8 who book as well. So,
and who's leading that then, Keith?
I don't know yet, Dave. I haven't quite. Unfortunately, Dave, you don't know this, but I planned this really well, because when I asked you the other day if you wanted to do the Annapurna circuit trek in 2026,
same time.
It's same time. So I did plan it quite well.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, perfect. Perfect for you and for me, actually. I love the Annapurna.
Yeah. So Andrea said, I've done Galapagos, but wouldn't mind doing the other parts of the trip. Would you develop another option? Gosh, some people are never happy, are they?
I know.
I mean, we could certainly look at it. But what I would say to you, Andrea, is after all your scuba diving escapades in the Maldives, it just opens up more options to you now in the Galapagos. And
it's Andrea. Hello, Andrea.
So, yeah, I think, you could do the Ecuador part and then still get something else out of the Galapagos that maybe you haven't seen already. So there's an option for you. Kelly's jumped in with another question saying, do you recommend altitude tablets? I did not take any for Toop Cow and was okay. So she's doing Killy. Obviously, we cannot recommend altitude tablets because it needs to be done from a travel clinic or a doctor. So we can't say one way or another. But one thing, not my advice, but what I say to people is that if there is something you can take that could potentially assist you in reaching your dream, then why would you not take it? That's kind of my take on it. I sort of say that loosely because with Diamox, there is some side effects to it. So obviously you need to test it before you head out and see if you do get the side effects. It's a massive diuretic, so you tend to pee a lot more. Obviously, because you're at altitude, you're getting more dehydrated. So actually, you drink more, so then you end up peeing more. So it's kind of a bit of a vicious cycle.
So then you're not sleeping quite through the night.
And then the worst one for some people is the tingling. It can give you really tingly fingers on your extremities, so toes, fingers. Some people get it in the ears, nose,
and other places.
And other places, apparently.
I'll never take it. I don't know.
But yeah, so I think it's worth looking into. I mean, the only thing that I will say about Diamox or acethromycin, as its common name is, Diamox is its it's a trade name for it.
Yeah.
But one thing that I will say about it is you need to be taking it before you start. Like you need to take it as you are acclimatizing to help assist with that process. Like if you get to the altitude and you then start having problems, it's then too late to start taking it at that point. So the decision needs to be, I'm going to start it at the bottom and continue with it. So you weren't going to bother. Someone mentioned it to me who was doing the same trip. So yeah, I think it's a personal choice. And like I say, you don't take it, Dave. I don't take it. The guides, as guides, we carry it in our first aid kits, and in an emergency, we can use it, but we very rarely do because, like I say, it's there to assist with acclimatizing. It's not there as a cure for altitude, really. So, just a quick reminder that the current offer is running until the end of this month on all of our trips. So that's a £1 deposit right up until the end of the month. And then we will draw out of the hat one lucky winner who has booked a trip in January, and they will get their base trip cost for free, whoever draws that one out. So that's, and very good. As we keep saying, we probably sell around about 100 to 150 trips in January. So the odds of you winning far better than the National Lottery.
Yeah, really good, aren't they?
So
better than premium bonds.
Yeah, much better than premium bonds. Mine's actually still sat. Look, there's my premium bonds there. Look.
All right.
My one premium.
Was it £1?
£1.
I know £1.
I know £1 one. Yeah. 45 years old, that is.
All right. What colour were pound notes back there then? I don't know. Brown, weren't they? I think. Anyway.
Was I not born with those coins?
They would have coins, the pound coins.
So remember that the offer is right on until the end of this month. One thing I will also say as well, and it unfortunately is coming, is that prices of trips are going to be increasing at some point in the next few months. Obviously, with what's going on with the dollar at the minute and everything else, and flight costs and all of those things, like we do need to look at it every year. And unfortunately, that point is coming where we need to make that decision again. So trips will be going up in price. Obviously, if you book your trip beforehand, then there won't be any increase in cost to you. It will only be for those that book after the trips have gone up. So that's something to consider if you are thinking about booking a trip into the future. I just need to double check because Tom has given me a list of things that I needed to cover.
Right.
And I'm just making sure that we've covered them all off before we we're pretty much there. We're getting there. We've done that one. We've done that one. Yeah. Obviously, if you are looking to book a bucket list trip, the simplest way of doing it is heading over to the website, and you can select your date, select your trip, do your add-ons, etc. from there. Someone's just asked I was wondering, on the Ecuador and Galapagos trip, how long do you spend at the Galapagos? So we are I think, just bear with me 2 seconds, because it's either 5 or, and this is me who's designed the trip. The answer to your other question is, do you snorkel or scuba? Yes, there is snorkeling in the itinerary. We haven't put scuba into the itinerary because obviously that would mean that people would need to be certified, and it kind of restricts people onto the trip. So there will be the option of people diving whilst they're out there. There will be free time while you were there. So we can certainly arrange it in there. It's just not part of the standard itinerary. Snorkeling is part of the standard itinerary because everybody can do that without any issues. But we will do the scuba for those who want to. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days on the Galapagos.
Ooh.
So the trip itself, as a quick rundown, is going to be into Quito, Cotopaxi National Park, and then the Amazon for 3 days in the Amazon, and then fly to the Galapagos, and then have the 5 days in the Galapagos. So 13-day trip in total. Was there any other questions there? Got 2 trips booked for this year, but need to get a 2026 plan together. Thanks, guys. See you soon, Dave.
So, fantastic.
There we are. Well, both where we are when you want to get your 2026 sorted. We've got plenty of different trips and things ready for 2026. And if you need any answers to anything, let us know.
Yeah.
But if there are no other questions, I think we just check all of the different platforms. There we are. Lindsay Allen highly recommends the Galapagos. Lindsay was one of the people who added that on to her Peru trip. So yeah, I think we've answered everything. So if you have got any other questions, then please do quickly add them in now, and we can get them answered before we close off. But apart from that, I think that's everything from me and you, Dave.
Yeah.
You know, if you are watching this on Instagram, make sure you follow us on Instagram. If you're watching it on Facebook, make sure you like us on Facebook so you can see everything else that we are up to. We try and do one of these a month. We kind of missed December because it kind of fell between Christmas and New Year, didn't it? So we kind of thought everyone else is super busy and didn't want to hear us blabbering on about stuff. But, you know, the best thing to do is, you know, go onto the website, have a look at the trips. Tom will put a link in now so you can pretty much go and find all the destinations nice and easy. Like I said, there are 49 different trips on there currently, I think. And, you know, everything from safaris to trekking to whitewater rafting to scuba diving. Like, you know, we're trying to make it a much more all-rounded package in that sense. So, you know, whatever it is you are interested or you want to try, then you can do. But, you know, some of our trips are nicely filled up for this year. Others have still got plenty of spaces on them as well. So there's lots of trips out there for you to go and think about. And obviously the other thing to consider is, don't forget, with the Bucket List Company, you can pay for your trips monthly. So once you book with your £1 deposit at the minute, the remaining balance can be split up between however many months are between then and your departure date. So if you start looking towards the end of 2026, then, you know, I think, you know, you can get a Toop Cow trek for like £45 or something like that. So, you know, it's a good way of, you know, paying off trips. And I know there are some of our bucket listers, Lindsay, for example, is one who has lots of trips booked at the minute. I think I'm doing 2 or 3 trips with Lindsay this year. She's Bhutan next year, or no, year after.
Year after, 2027. Yeah.
She's Maldives liverboarding with us next year.
Excellent.
So yeah, it's a great way to kind of plan for your trips ahead and make sure you've got something to look forward to. So please head over to the website, have a look through all the destinations, and if there's anything on there that takes your fancy, either get it booked or give us an email and ask us a question, and we can get it sorted for you. But I think that's it, Dave.
Very good.
If there's no other questions from anyone, thank you all for listening to us on this Wednesday evening. If anyone is heading to Destination Show this weekend, I will be there on Thursday and Friday, and then some of the other team will be there Saturday and Sunday. But hopefully we will see you very soon. If not, we'll catch you here in a month's time.
Brilliant.
Thanks ever so much, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.